Hello YouTube, welcome back. Today I'm gonna continue the last part of the faction tier list that I did. That'll be the last part. I have a couple of factions still remaining. We got the Drifters, Triglavians, the drones, or how do they call drones? EDENCOM and our air laboratories. Those factions are not conquered subjected, so that means if you do missions at one of them, it won't necessarily impact the factions that are under conquered. So they're pretty much independent in that regard. And today I am gonna talk about I'm gonna rank the drifters. As you can see, we have the drifters. And let's talk about a little bit about the drifters. I mean, you show it in game. And how do you actually see? I mean, if you see here at standing attributes, let me see. Where's no? That's for corporation. Let's go to the factions. Show info. As you can see, those exist. Those factions exist, and if we have here drifters. Let's talk about the drifters. So you cannot fly drifter ships, but you can fight them, and it's part of like the high-end PvE. They got battleships like the Apollo. Probably heard you or you got killed by it. And Antemis Tyrannos, which features incredibly unique mechanics. They possess a massive secondary blue overshield. Yeah, I mean, but the blue overshield is depleted. The drifters wear instant fire, like a miniature doomsday weapon, known as the Lux Contus, and these beans deals an apocalyptic amount of omni damage that will instantly delete like almost any subcapital ship in the game that isn't specifically fitted to survive. If you engage a drifter without a dedicated fleet or a highly specialized fleet, you will just die. So the drifters also do not have like a space to known space. They reside within like in wormhole spaces known as Anoikis, specifically in uncharted specialized systems known as the drifter hives, like Rebound, Sentinel, Barbican, Videte, and Conflux. You have to just actively hunt them down and through wormhole connections, and then they don't have like stations, no markets, no trade hubs, and the only thing or economy I guess associated with drifters is like it's highly lucrative salvage and the blue loot known as the blue loot. Slippers, data drifter, data libraries, and you can rip from burning wrecks to sell to NPC buy orders for like billions of ISK. Yeah, they are just universally hosted to every empire, pirate, cartel, and capsuleer in the game, and you cannot join them, but the community effort to fight them was massive, as we saw like in the 2025 Drifter Crisis Rise for the Hives event. And Capsuleers coalitions regularly form massive fleets to push back drifter incursions and to secure wormhole territories to prevent them from reinforce their mysterious strongholds. Let's just put it like this. Their lore is pretty interesting. It's actually one of very pure science fiction horror. They suddenly appear like in New Eden following the apocalyptic explosion of Caroline star in YC-116. They're heavily implied to be ancient militarized offshoot of the Jove's empire of sleepers awakened from centuries of crypto status. Most terrifyingly, they actively hunt Capsuleers to harvest our frozen corpses, and they use the harvesters' bodies to essentially wear as biological suit, allowing them their advanced AI to interact with physical world. And their ships look like utterly alien, slick, cyan glowing asymmetrical vessels that glide through space without like any visible propulsion system. And if I would have to give a rank to the Drifters, much more like the Jove Empire, the Drifters just completely break the rules of this tier list because they're just entirely unplayable. You cannot join them, you cannot farm their LP, and certainly you cannot just fly their ships. And they are known to be the ultimate boogeyman in Eden, and as an Apex PvE threat, they will instantly vaporize any Capsuleer who doesn't treat them with absolute respect. So I'll put them into D tier. They belong there because there's no interaction with them. They're just known as the boogeyman. That's it. Gonna talk about the next one, and that would be also this time around. I'm also live on Twitch, so you guys know. Doing this live. Gonna talk and about the next one, next faction, and that would be, let me show you, it's the standing. Where are they? The rogue drones. The rogue drones, guys, much more like the drifters. The rogue drones are not a faction, and you can join, nor they have like a dedicated pirate ship tree for Capsuleers to fly. Instead, they just like an ever-present terrifying hive mind that serves as a backbone for some of the most lucrative PvE content in Eden. And well, you cannot fly rogue drones cruisers. This faction absolutely dominates the drone meta because of the high-end Capsuleer using carriers, super carriers, Titans, and Dreadnought deploy Concord Rogue analyze beacons, which are known as crabs, to attract like massive swarm of them. And destroying these swarms after successfully scanning cycle rewards like with mutaplasmas, which can be used to permanently mutate standard drones into incredibly overpowered or completely ruined versions. They also drop sentient faction. Let me show you in the game. Sentient. Yes, those items. Faction modules, which are highly sought after. Well, the only thing that I would say about it is that, you know, there are no rogue drone ships to pilot, and the closest you can get is like flying like drone focused hull, like maybe, I don't know, Astero or Gila, and flying it with their mutated drone offspring. But as a geography, they're just literally everywhere. They're formally in now with like the election with the new president of Galente. They were probably going to be more advanced. They're definitely everywhere. They're formally controlled massive sprawling nullsec areas as known as the drone regions, such as Malpasses, Wasa, the Kareleva expanse, and you can find rogue drones data sites and anomalies in every corner of high sec, low sec, and wormhole space. The deep nullsec drone regions are usually just heavily monopolized by massive player alliances. They're just trying to rat or explore out there, and as a solo or neutral player means you're going to get hunted by local fleets very quickly. I mean, you know, and they operate as a relentless. Let me actually just have them here so you actually know who I'm talking about. Where are they? Drone. I had them actually pulled, right? Yeah, there you go. Should I make them bigger? Nah, it's fine. You see them here, their logo. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, they operate as a relentless hive mind. They have no diplomats, and, you know, you cannot align with them. They're just purely to be farmed. Entire player empires base their economies around exterminating them for bounties, alloys, and motoplasmas. And they have an interesting lore. It is fantastic. Sci-fi horror. They're just originally started decades ago as advanced autonomous galactic mining and combat drones that gain true or sentience and rebel against their creators. Over the last like couple 30 years, they've just infected massive superstructures, asteroids, and dead space pockets. Even more terrifying, they're known to be abduct capsuleers and normal humans, subjecting them to horrifying experiments and using their nervous system as organ processing nodes for their hives. They're basically evil online of Borg of the Matrix machines. And yeah, as aesthetics, they look like their structure look like twisted metallic insects cobbled together into scrap metals, asteroid rocks, and stolen empire tech. And if I would, did I even rank them? Because they cannot, you know, do too much about it. It's also like a D tier faction. They don't have any ships. They don't, but you know, there's a lot of activity, and they're definitely everywhere. But for the purpose of my ranking list, they're gonna be in the D tier. Alright, next is gonna be the air. Let me show you where that air is. That'll be right here. And it is kind of when I started actually the game, air didn't exist. So it's not a completely new faction, but it is somewhat new. And Air is like fiercely independent organization that claims to operate beyond the borders of Empire. Also, they appear like in the new, if I look at the map, the new Exordium system for the new players. They have like stations everywhere there. So it is very much new player focus, which I can appreciate. And yeah, I don't mean, do I even have here things said about them? They're just a fiercely independent organization that claims to operate. They don't have LP. They don't participate. You know, I guess you participate and somewhat via the opportunities you can get the, you know, that's how you can get actually completing the daily tasks and earn ever more is skill points. And Air was founded by two corporate prodigies as a lore, Elida Balashira, formerly known as Sister of Eve, and Daisuke Ojula, formerly known as Kaldari Ishiton Corporation, and together they form a tech startup dedicated to democratize the notoriously expensive process of becoming a Capsuleer by covering the medical and training costs for new players. Air is allowed to study the neurological data of Capsuleers to further their own top secret cloning and neural transfer technology, and visually their facilities and UI elements are slick, modern, and highly polished, offering a more pristine science fiction aesthetic compared to rusty utilitarian look of an older EVE Online faction. So also, you know, because they don't have no dedicated pilot of airships, they don't like other factions that they have. Also, why don't just have them back so you guys know? They absolutely dominate though the meta early of character progression. I think it's also via what it's called. There's also something. Yeah, our career program. I think it's also what they created. Through like air career programs, players just can grind through various paths like explorer, industrialist, and soldier of fortune toward massive rewards, including like up to like 1.5 million skill points for mega clones. They also just like provide expert systems which are restricted to like AI, temporary grants, new capsuleers, the skills needed to fly basic ships or perform industry tasks without having to wait for actual skill training. But you know, I guess once you graduate the Air Career program and claim your free skill points and non-expiring boosters, the faction direct gameplay utility drops off significantly. They do not manufacture competitive high-end hulls or weapons. You know, like just the start. And obviously, like I said, they're everywhere, including like the new created systems of exordiums. They live in your UI. They interact with through your daily goals, opportunities, window, regardless of you're docked in the galaxy. In terms of like physical space, they are partnered with Concord in YC 123, and yeah, the chart exordium, the newly constructed region, via like a Stargate. And this exordium was specifically established to strictly enforce safe haven for Capsuleer trading, free from violent conflicts of wider cluster. So you cannot conquer this space, and air development facilities are permanently protected from Concord protocols, preventing players from fighting over the territory. So if I would have to give them a ranking, I actually put them very polarized, but I actually have them also in top tier because we really need a corporation like this. This is a corporation I think that it is good for EVE Online, or a faction rather. It is. I can only appreciate this corporation existing, even though they don't have like necessarily. But once you like get the essentials, yeah, very good in my opinion. So we're gonna go to the next one. We only have like 2 remainings, even though it shows 3. We know I talked about the last video about the interboss and their lore. It is the Triglavian. Triglavians, guys. I mean, you probably heard about Triglavians, right? Even though you don't see them right here, you cannot interact with them directly as in factions, but you heard about them. You know their ships. You know they have a ship tree as well. So they're well known. Includes like Kikimora, you know Kikimora, you know the Vedmak, the Drakovich, the Lashrak. It is all universally feared, right? Especially in structure bashes. Their unique weapon systems, the entropic disintegrator, fired like a single continuously beam that spools up in damage the longer it stays locked into a target. And if a Lashrak is allowed to spool, its maximal damage will melt like capital ships and heavily tank structures faster than anything else in the game. Yeah, the Kikimora. What I want to say. Yeah, it's also considered like the Kikimora. Yes, it is considered like one of the best small gang PvP ship ever introduced. The only thing I would say bad about them is that this disintegrators requires the ship to maintain absolute lock and target range, and if a Triglavian ship is jammed by ECM dampers or the target simply moves out of the optimal range, the weapon turns off and the damage multiplier completely resets to zero. They're just incredibly vulnerable to electronic warfare. Um, yeah, you know about the Triglavian. Triglavian carve out their own region in the space called the Pochvin. It is the triangle right in the middle of the map. If you were looking at, that's Pochvin, as you can see, which is composed of like 27 former Empire systems that were invaded and isolated because of YC121 and YC122, because Pochvin just disconnected from the standard Stargate network, and if you can only enter using like a wormhole or specialized Pochvin entry filament and farming the region exclusive blue loot. The interstellar navigation logs is like one of the most lucrative activities in the entire EVE. It is though incredibly dangerous, and like wormhole space, local chat is delayed. Meaning you will not see like hostility players in the chat channels unless they speak. And they have also a pretty big community. The Triglavian hosted the ultimate version of faction warfare during the invasion phase, during Capsuleers, known as the Cybernauts, and to actively fight against EDENCOM to conquer systems. Their LP is top tier. To survive, like in Pochvin, you must manage the standing. You need positive standing just to prevent their NPC fleets from shooting you, and specific standing levels are required to access their stations, like in the edges of the Pochvin. You cannot enter actually in this system if you don't have the necessary standing. But there's also like the observatory flashpoint fleets in Pochvin. They're like a multi-billion-esque per hour industry, heavily like contested by elite player groups. Also, if we look at their ships, let's just take a look at one of them and tell you a little bit about their lore. The Triglavian Collective is like a highly advanced human civilization that secluded itself in abyssal dead space centuries ago. Their society is ruled by tripartite system composed of Perun, Svog, Rog, and Velos clads. They hold a deep ancestral hatred for the Jove and their drifter successor, whom they refer as the ancient enemy, Java. Everything about them revolves around the number 3 and is a concept of proving oneself through struggle. Visually, their ships are aggressive, asymmetrical. If we look at them, biomechanical hulls, just painted in dark obsidian and glowing abyssal red. Okay, let me reply. Will be in a minute. Okay, let me finish this video. Alright. Yes, I'm planning. Okay. I'll let you know. Well. Okay. And obviously, if I have to rank them, I mean, do I need to tell you that they're the best. I have to put them in S tier. I mean, there's no actually I don't even had shared my screen with you guys. But I'll put them in like the S tier. I just have to. Okay, and the last will be the EDENCOM. The EDENCOM. So let me just check. So you guys actually can see my ranking. Because I didn't had it. So now you can see. That's what I have, and I have one more faction that I need to talk about, and that'll be the EDECOM. And the EDECOM is ship 3 includes like Skybreaker. Let's go into the game and show it to you. EDECOM ship 3. They also have those haulers, these new haulers. But they got Skybreaker. They got Stormbringer, they got Thunderchild, and they got the Vortex project weapon fire chain lighting. The arc is like multiple enemies, you know, lighting, yielding massive overall DPS when fighting swarms. This makes them like the ultimate ships for like multi-box rattling, and as a fleet of Thunderchilds, they can clear Nullsec anomalies like heaven almost instantly. In PvP, Skybreakers are incredibly effective at deleting hostile drone swarms. The Vortex projectors are terribly single target damage by design. Furthermore, the chain lighting is completely unpredictable. They will automatically bounce to neutral targets, friendly ships, or structures, which can quickly result in conquer destroy your ships in high sec. Due to these like extreme limitations, EDECOM's ships are rarely seen outside of the niche multi-boxing rattling setups in highly specialized fleet composition. The good, I would say that technically built by the Upwell consortium and placed under like EDECOM Ship 3, their hulls and modules can be purchased on the open market in the major trade hubs. They are though astronomically expensive. Fitting like a fully fitted Thunderchild can cost over like 1.5 billion, or a Stormbringer can just approaches 700 to 800 million ISK. And to manufacture them, player must farm their blueprints and materials from highly difficult fleet-oriented PvE sites like the work arcs and the accelerator flashpoints. And because the upfront cost to fly them is so high, losing one of is like a massive financial blow. And the EDECOM was just primarily an active faction during the Triglavian invasion effect. Today their main geographic footprint consists of fortress, a minor victory system that successfully repel invaders. And while they don't operate like a standard modern factional warfare frontline, maintain like a positive standing with EDECOM is critical. If your standing drops into negative, you're usually just helping Triglavians in Patreon. EDECOM gate guns and roaming fleets will immediately fire on you the moment you enter their territory in a known space. So Also, I'll tell you a little bit about their lore, led by like the Provost Marshal Kashina Valknir. EDENCOM represents the incredibly rare moment when Amar, Kaldari, Galente, and Minmatar put aside their differences to face an existential threat. They utilize advanced Upwell consortium technology to reverse engineer arcing Vorten projector specifically to counter the Triglavian swarm's tactics. And if we look at their ships, let's take a look at one. Visually, their ships look like a heavily fortified paladins of space, featuring distinct blocky and heavy armored blue, silver, and gold aesthetics. And if I would have to give a ranking to EDENCOM, I would put them into... I cannot put them in S, sorry. They're a C. So, yeah, because they were formed, you know, pure necessity to fight a Triglavian invasion, because their ships are just highly specialized to deal with massive swarm of enemies. They utilize their utility for average solo players as incredibly low, but in the hands of like experienced multi-boxers, they become one of the most efficient ISK printing machines in the game. Yeah, and that'll be it for the ranking. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. And the whole faction. What do you think about my ranking? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments. It was quite a bit of a ride. I didn't think I would be able to just finish this whole thing, but I managed to. It took me like 4 days. So yeah, subscribe. Take care. Bye.